of the strategic position. And to do all that is necessary in preparation of any military attack. So it's not a question of evacuation only. They are exploiting also the circumstances for their own ends.
It's adding to concern here that this island's neutrality is slowly being eroded. James Bayes, Al Jazeera, Malta.
Let's go back to Libya now and take a closer look at another crucial battleground, the oil town of Ras Lanuf. Our correspondent Jackie Rowland is there and has been talking to anti-government forces.
The rebels are edging closer and closer to the Gaddafi heartlands. The territory they call Free Libya now extends almost as far west as Bin Jawad. That's just 200 kilometers from Gaddafi's hometown of Sirte.
We advanced to Bin Jawad and we discovered that Gaddafi troops had recruited teenagers and made them stand on the rooftops to shoot at us. After that, we decided to withdraw from Bin Jawad to work out a new strategy to return and capture the town.
The rebels are chaotic and living on their nerves. Their mood swings from panic to euphoria. But their great strength lies in the conviction that they are liberating their country. The skies are clear again after a sandstorm that lasted several days. And good visibility means enemy aircraft. The rebels are vulnerable from the sky. The pro-Gaddafi forces have aircraft, the opposition fighters don't. It's their one really big disadvantage. Capturing territory and capturing enemy soldiers too. The rebels take us to see a man they've been holding prisoner since Friday. He tells me he's a conscript in the Libyan army.
The army asked me what my specialty was. They posted me as a sentry and said, if you leave, we will shoot you.
Gaddafi's army may outgun the rebels, but the rebels outnumber the army. New volunteers are joining all the time and their morale is high. Just as well, since the heaviest fighting may still lie ahead. Jackie Rowland, Al Jazeera, Ras Lanuf in eastern Libya.
Well, the unrest in Libya is prompting new fears for the global economy. Attacks on oil depots and slowing productions there has caused U.S. crude oil to hit a 2.5-year high, rising above $106. As a result, stock markets are taking a big hit. Tokyo's Nikkei average is down more than 2% on Monday, while Australia's benchmark index is down by about 1%. Now, in Yemen, at least one person has died in clashes with government loyalists. 52 protesters were wounded in Ib city. That's 190 kilometers south of the capital, Sana'a. And another member of parliament has resigned from the ruling party, the 14th in the past week. Sheikh Hassan Ali Anan quit in defiance of the government's treatment of protesters. Saudi Arabia is reportedly building up its security forces in the eastern part of the country. It comes in response to protests there, calling for more rights for Shia Muslims. New video posted on social media websites appears to show a protest in Qatif on Friday. On Saturday, the Interior Minister banned all demonstrations in the kingdom. Well, protesters in Egypt say they've been attacked by security service and armed men in plain clothes. The demonstrators had been trying to storm a government building. They were looking for secret documents linked to Hosni Mubarak's regime. Amin Mohaldin has more from Cairo.
Outside the towering Ministry of Interior, they gathered, demanding access. But on Sunday evening, as the crowds grew, so too did the tension. The Egyptian military, under strict orders to prevent crowds from storming the sprawling security complex, fired warning shots into the air. The situation further complicated with the arrival of armed men, who the protesters described as former regime loyalists that tried to attack the crowds. Earlier on Sunday, the prosecutor general had ordered all state security buildings sealed. That decision came after protesters stormed the operational headquarters of the state security in another Cairo suburb. There they found documents, police records, underground rooms, and even a passageway that led to a secret living quarter they claimed was used by the powerful Minister of Interior, now standing trial. They also found bags of shredded documents. With the recent departure of the Mubarak-appointed Prime Minister Ahmed Shafiq, protesters feared that state security officials would attempt to destroy all evidence that would implicate them. After protesters stormed this massive state security compound behind me, Egypt's new prime minister asked anyone with incriminating evidence or documents to hand them over to the military so that they can be used in the prosecution of former regime officials. Documents like these, obtained by Isra Abdel Fattah, who was detained by state security twice for her political activism, show how state security was spying on her, even hacking into her email accounts to find out which organizations she was involved in and who she was in regular contact with.
These records show they were extremely paranoid from us. Every piece of information that for us seemed insignificant would be significant for them. They were convinced that there must have been some international organization behind my activities.
That sense of paranoia led state security to act with impunity for years, many say. State security was often accused of corruption, extortion, and torturing activists and citizens alike. Hussam Hamallawi was tortured while in the custody of state security.
State security has to be dissolved completely, not restructured or frozen, but to be dissolved. Secondly, every single officer and corporal and agent and informer in that agency must be put on trial.
Today, on the walls of the abandoned complex that came to symbolize the oppression Egyptians endured under the previous regime, a simple message left by the protesters. This is the fate of the oppressors. Ayman Muhyiddin, AlJazeera, Nasser City.
There's plenty more still to come on Al Jazeera, including
changing gears, how drivers in Spain are having to slow down on the nation's highways as a result of the crisis in Libya.
And one of the world's most active volcanoes puts on a spectacular display. Stay with us.
Hello once again, welcome to another look at the international forecast, and we've seen some very lively weather across the eastern third of the United States. Here's that huge bank of cloud making its way across the eastern seaboard. Dry weather coming back in behind for a time. We have got thicker cloud coming into central parts, and there you go, another area of very wet and wintry weather to come here as we go on through Monday. So there's that snow. It will turn to snow as it pushes its way over the high ground of the Rockies. Temperatures pegged back to 17 Celsius in LA. Plenty of snow into central parts as well. Denver, temperatures falling back to just freezing as a high. And we've got cooler air, but at least it's dry by the time we come to Monday around the eastern seaboard. So 8 degrees there for New York. Notice that wintry weather just clinging on around the Canadian Maritime, so that could cause a few problems. Elsewhere, it should be largely dry, and it's largely dry too across the Caribbean. Some lovely sunshine here. Maybe northern parts of Nicaragua pushing into Guatemala could see a few showers, but for most, it's set fair. We'll see temperatures getting up to 27, maybe 28 Celsius. Some pleasant weather to come then.